Advent calendars. They're a fun way to celebrate Christmas a little bit every day in December. But we're used to, well, chocolate ones for kids and definitely for adults too. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about Advent calendars for our pets, more specifically our cats.
To not sit there, okay? Can you move it up?
Welcome back to Arlo's Bevy. So today we're going to be discussing common holiday Advent calendars geared towards felines. So I have selected 4 different Advent calendars that are on the market this year, that's 2023, that come from different types of stores that are geared just towards pets versus stores that are more big box stores. So there's a good variety of different types and kinds of treats in these treat calendars. So today, me and the cats will be rating each of these 4 calendars on a scale of 1 to 5 based on 4 different variables. The first being the appearance and quality of the calendar itself. Second will be the variety and appearance of the treats themselves. Then third will be the nutritional value of the treats in the calendars. And finally, kitty satisfaction, which you bet will be their favorite part. Now, to test kitty satisfaction, we must evoke the taste trials. I will first start by introducing our contestants. Arlo. He can be a bit of a picky eater sometimes, and he usually doesn't like fish. Luna. Probably my pickiest eater, but she still loves food. Aspen. Also a traditional kitten. Very excited about food. Acorn. Acorn loves food. All right. So first, we'll be judging each of the calendars on appearance. So the 3 things that I thought was most important about the appearance of these calendars: how festive is it? Does it reflect the holidays and the spirit around that? Is it cat related? Basically, is there a cat on it? The quality of the product in terms of like the cardboard, how easy it is to open, any other functions it may have. So for appearance, we will use a scale of 1 to 5 for each of these 3 variables underneath the appearance of the calendar. 1 being it's meh, 2 being it's okay, 3 being it's decent, 4 good, and 5 absolutely gorgeous. The second variable that we are going to be looking at is variety and appearance of the treats themselves. So for the 3 criteria to assess this, we'll be looking at, are there treat options? Is there more than one kind of treat in the calendar? to keep your kitty friend interested all month long. Second, what is the shape and look of the treat? Does it look appetizing? And 3, smell. Is it something your kitty's gonna look at and be like, that looks yummy. I'm gonna eat that, and it smells good. This will be rated on a scale of 1 to 5 as well. 1 being no variety, treats look kind of meh, to 5 being a lot of variety and excellent looking and smelling treats. Our third variable is going to be nutritional value for your pet. So in that part, I'm going to break down each of the ingredients in each of the treats in each of the calendars based on their protein content, their ingredients that are detrimental or not great for your pets, and the ingredients that are good for your pets and maybe even have health benefits. So when looking at protein content, we're going to be looking at what is the meat source. And secondly, what is the crude protein level? Crude protein is a chemical analysis of the amount of protein that your animal will gain from the food, from all the ingredients in the food combined together into that formula under that processing. So it's a really good way to see, okay, how much of this is actually protein? And protein is so important for cats because cats are carnivores, which means although they still need vegetables in their body for roughages and fiber, they more need protein sources. So we're going to look at the percentages of the crude protein in each of the treats in each of these calendars. This again will be rated on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the ingredient is not recommended, and 5 being it actually has health benefits, 3 being it's kind of inconsequential. It's there and it's not harmful, it's not beneficial, and 2 and 4 kind of being your middle ground. I also just want to say that 10% of our daily calories given to our pets can be treats, but we shouldn't exceed this amount as it may cause obesity or other health complications. All of these are commercially approved diets, so they have been specially formulated for your pets by experts in the field of animal nutrition.
Can you be quiet, please? Thanks.
Alrighty, so the first calendar we're going to look at is the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas Advent Calendar. This guy right here. So it comes as a nice little boxed item, just like this. It has a little sleeve on it that slides right off. That's just a little advertisement for it. And then, of course, nutrition facts and the different treat options are on the back. First, we'll be looking at the festive amount of this calendar. So this calendar has nice little mitten cutouts, some sparkles. It's got lots of festive things like mistletoe and stockings, hats and mittens, Christmas trees, presents, ornaments, candy canes, lights. It's got lots of festive. So I'm gonna give that probably a 5. Next is how cat related is it? So the insert has a nice little cat treats as what it is, 25 days of yumminess for our lazy kitties. There's a nice little kitty in a Santa hat. But other than that, doesn't really have a lot of kitty to it. So I'm going to give that like a 2 for kittiness. So our last part that we're going to rate for the appearance of the calendar is the quality of the calendar. So it's made of cardboard. No big deal, they all are. It's pretty thin cardboard. It's nothing too special. It's just kind of there. But it's got nice pretty color, so I guess there's that. Let's open up one of these doors and see what that's like. So there's this little tab to make it easier to open the door, so that's good. And then it opens. It's a little firm to open, but that's good. It's not going to open on its own. And then inside you can see the cat treats. They're in a little plastic container, which is sealed. There's a plastic film here that you can see. I'm assuming for freshness. So you pop that open. That was pretty easy. And then you can get in to your cat treats. They're pretty easy to get out. And you can see there's not going to be any cat treats falling down between the cardboard because of this sealed part. So I would say that's actually really quite good quality. I'm going to give that a 4 for quality. So the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas Advent Calendar scored a total of 73% for appearance of the calendar itself. So now for the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas Advent Calendar, we're going to be looking at variety and appearance of the treats themselves. Looking at the options for treats, the shape and look of the treats, and the smell of the treats. So there is 3 different options that the kitties can get at random in this calendar, being chicken, duck, and salmon. I would say that's a pretty good variety. It's actually the most variety of all the calendars, so I'm going to give that a solid 5 for excellent amount of options of different treats. So I've gone ahead and opened a few more doors on this Lazy Kitty calendar, and just to show you that they're all pretty much the same. They don't really look that different between the 3 different recipes. They're all just nice little squares, easy bite-sized pieces. So for shape and look, I can't say that they've done anything terribly groundbreaking here in terms of shape. They're just easy to eat squares, so that's good. I'm going to give them a 3 for shape and look. And lastly, for the Lazy Kitty calendar, we're going to be looking at smell of the treats. So obviously I'm not a cat and their sense of smell is much better than ours, but I'm going to take a whiff and see what I think, if that would be super appetizing or maybe there's no smell at all. So there's a little cat treat. I mean, it smells like a cat treat. It doesn't really smell until you get really, really close, and then yes, you can absolutely smell it. And it does smell appetizing, I guess. It smells like duck. Anyway, I'm gonna give that like a 4 because it doesn't smell bad. It smells good, but it doesn't smell very strongly. So for variety and appearance, the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas calendar scored overall 80%. Let's look at the nutritional value for your cat of the Lazy Kitty calendar. So you'll notice right away when reading the ingredients list that the ingredients after the first protein type is exactly the same for all of the treats. The Lazy Kitty calendar has 3 different protein types of treats. The chicken recipe has a crude protein level of 17%, the duck 12%, and highest in the salmon with a 22% crude protein level. These are all pretty decently high crude protein levels, and I do like that there's different options in terms of the chicken, duck, and salmon. So there's different protein sources. So I'm going to give this a 4 for crude protein or protein content. Now, let's look at each of the ingredients in order for each of the treats. So the first ingredient is protein. That is super awesome because it means it is the ingredient that is most prominent in the treats. That means most of the treat is made up of that protein, which is awesome. Because again, cats are carnivores, meaning that meat is much easier for them to digest and absorb in their digestive system. So the first ingredient is chicken. I'm going to give that a rating of 5. So the first ingredient after the protein is brown rice flour. This is traditionally a binding agent, but it does have easy digestibility. I'm going to give that a rating of 3. Next is vegetable glycerin, which is a preservative. It is high in sugar and in larger quantities can make our pets gain weight. So I'm going to say that that's about a 2 because it could be detrimental to their health. Then barley flour, which is a source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals for your cat, giving it a rating of 4. Then molasses. Molasses is a common binding agent in cat and dog food. It's also used as a sweetener, and it is a complex carbohydrate. This is better than a simple carbohydrate because it is broken down slower, which means that it does not cause dramatic blood sugar spikes in our pets. So if there has to be a sweetener in it, it's a good option. However, it still does cause some sugar implications to the bloodstream, so I'm going to give it a rating of 3. Then we have bamboo fiber. This is good for our gastrointestinal health and digestion, as well as maintaining a firm stool. So that actually has benefits to their health, so I'm going to give that a 5. Natural flavor is natural flavor. Then yeast extract is often added for palatability reasons, so to make it taste good, but it is also good for their intestinal health and immune system. So it does have health benefits. Again, we're going to give that a 5. Salt is an essential mineral. It is extremely important for nerve and muscle cell function. We're going to give that a 5. Taurine. Taurine is an essential amino acid for cats, meaning that it is an amino acid they must get from their diet as they cannot synthesize it on their own from their surroundings. It is very important for vision, digestive, and heart muscle health. So I'm going to give that a 5. And then lastly, we have rosemary extract. That is a natural preservative to keep the food fresh. It also has anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties, so it is beneficial to their health as well, giving a 5. All right, so our second calendar that we're going to be looking at is the VitaCat Advent Calendar for cats. So this guy is kind of interesting. He comes just like this with a nice little flap that folds upwards, got some snowflakes, and then the calendar itself. All right, so first we're gonna look at the appearance of the calendar itself and how festive it is. So as you can see, there's this nice wreath around a kitty wearing a Santa hat. We got some candy canes, we got some lovely little birds, a present. When you open it up, we got some kitties in stockings, we got some kitties with reindeer, antlers, kitty with a gift. There's lots of festive here. So I'm gonna give it probably a 4 for festive. Then let's look at the level of kittiness. So there are 4 main kitties on the screen that will show each of the days, as well as a kitty on the front who looks very happy about his VitaCat treats. So I'm going to give this a 5 for level of kittiness. Then we're going to look at quality of the calendar itself. So it's made of thin cardboard, just like the last one, but the flap is, you know, it's pretty on there. It's pretty flappy. It feels pretty solid. Let's open up one of the windows. So there's this nice little tab. There's a nice little perforated tab, so you can get your finger in there nice and easy, just like that, and then pull it open. And this one has the plastic too, just like the last one, so it is secure in there. The treat is sealed in there for freshness and also so that it's not falling in between and all gathering in the bottom of the calendar. So let's pop that out. Oh, that is very spongy. All right, we gotta keep our hand on the back and kind of twist it to get it out. But it does pop open. So because it's a little bit more difficult to open the plastic, but in general the calendar is pretty well made, I'm gonna give it a 4 for quality. Giving it a final appearance of the calendar rating of 86%. Next, we're going to look at variety and appearance of the treats themselves. So for options, this guy just has one type of treat, and that is 100% wild salmon dehydrated cat treats. So there is not a lot of variety in this case, but what they are giving you is high quality cat treats. So what I'm going to do is give it a rating of 2 for options of different treats. Next, let's look at the shape and look of the cat treat. So we're going to take this guy out. He is much bigger than the last calendar. There's just one treat per hole. It looks kind of, well, dehydrated for sure. It's definitely not a particular shape, but I think that's a good indication that it is truly what they said, 100% wild caught salmon. So I'm going to give that a rating of 4 because it doesn't look very appetizing, but it does look real. Last, let's look at smell. Wow, that smells like salmon. Like from here, it smells like salmon. It is very vibrant in its smell. So I'm gonna give that a 5. So variety and appearance of the treats for the VitaCat Advent Calendar for cats ends with a total rating of 73%. It has a protein content of 68%. So that's a very high, but obviously normal in terms of the fact that there is only one ingredient, and that happens to be a protein source, being fish. So I'm going to give that a 5. Alrighty, so for the VitaCat Advent Calendar for cats, the only ingredient is wild salmon. So it's a full protein source. There's no other additives, no other preservatives, and the reason that they can do that is because it is dehydrated wild salmon, which means that it's been heated at low temperatures for a long period of time, and is actually considered not to be completely cooked exactly, but just to be lower in the moisture source, meaning that it will not spoil as quickly. So I'm going to give that a 5. I just wanted to say that because of the treat size for this calendar, I am going to be breaking the treats up into littler bite-sized pieces for my cats, just to avoid any choking hazards that this may pose. But it does break very, very easily and crumbles into small pieces very simply. Third is our Wags and Whiskers 24 Days of Cat Treats. There isn't too much to this one. No unboxing, no unpacking. It's just right there. Again, we will start with appearance of the calendar. So as far as festive, there's some lights, there's a kitty wearing a scarf, a kitty playing with a yarn ball. The side of it has a nice little kitty pattern with some French horns and trees. It's on both sides and the top. And the back has, of course, all the nutrition ingredients for the food, as well as a little blurb about their product. So in terms of festive, I'm gonna give it like a 3. It's kind of festive, but it's not like super holiday, Christmassy. It's more like, wintry kind of thing with those cats with the scarves and stuff like that. In terms of cats, though, there is 5 cats on the front of the calendar, and that's pretty much it. So I'd say it's pretty cat related. It's called the 24 Days of Cat Treats, so that's pretty cat related, I think. So I'm gonna give it like a 5 for cat relatedness. Now let's look at quality. So there isn't too much in terms of other packaging for this at all. In fact, there isn't any at all. So it's pretty much right there. As you can see, I haven't opened any of these intentionally, but some of them are already popped out. I found them at the store that way. This is a little ripped, so it's made of very thin cardboard, and it just kind of ripped already at the store. So I wouldn't say it's great quality, so I'm gonna give it like a 1. So overall, for appearance of the calendar, I'm going to give the Wags and Whiskers 24 Days of Cat Treats a score of 60%. Next, we're going to look at variety of the treats as well as appearance and smell for the Wags and Whiskers. So in terms of variety, there's just one type of treat, and they don't really specify what kind of treat it is. There isn't a protein source or anything like that they're like, yeah, this is a chicken treat or a beef treat or whatever. It's just, this is a treat. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 1 for variety because there isn't really any, and they don't really advertise what kind of treat it is. So let's crack one of these windows open. So there is a little tab that's already perforated, again, making it very easy to open the window. And then inside, they're actually little bags of cat treats. So they come right out really nicely. And I wouldn't think that they would fall down in between here because of the size of the bag, and it does have a little bit of air in it, just probably to help keep the treats fresh. So then let's look at the shape and look of these treats. Let's get this bag open. So these treats are very cute. They have little like designs on the fishes, and some of them are a little different designs. So yeah, they're very cute little treats, and they're all shaped like fish. It's really neat. So in terms of shape and look, I'm going to give these a 5 because I think they were pretty creative. I think having the little designs on the fishes is pretty cool and neat and different. And then last, for variety and appearance, for the Wags and Whiskers, smell test. These like very faintly smell of something, maybe kind of cat treats. They don't really smell like anything. They kind of smell like crackers, honestly. And like you have to be like right in there to really smell anything at all. So I'm gonna give that like a 2 because they don't smell bad, but they don't really have very much of a smell. So for the Wags and Whiskers 24 Days of Cat Treats, in terms of variety, smell, and appearance of the treat itself, I'm going to give it an overall rating of 53%. Now, let's look at the nutrition side of the Wags and Whiskers 24 Days of Cat Treats. So in terms of protein content, again, there is no specified protein source in terms of a meat source in these treats, and that's reflected in their crude protein of 9%. So that's not very high based on the other treats also looked at in the other calendars. So I'm going to give that a protein content rating of 1. In addition to that, let's look at the ingredients list. So the first ingredient is wheat flour. Wheat flour is a source of fiber and carbohydrates. It can be good for digestion and energy in your animals. So that does have health benefits, so we're going to give it a rating of 5. The second ingredient is palm oil. It is usually used to make the texture more palatable. It is a saturated fat, which means that it is solid at room temperatures. It has the potential to be able to clog arteries because of this, and so I count that as being detrimental to the health of your pet, giving it a rating of 1. Next is maltitol. This is a sweetener, and it can affect the blood sugar negatively by causing drastic spikes in the blood sugar, so again, a rating of 1. Cornstarch is a thickening and binding agent. It also increases digestion, so it's kind of not helping but also not hindering. So I'm going to give it a 3. Then catnip. Catnip is a natural mood enhancer for cats, and it preys on the happy brain receptors in your feline. Used in moderation, it can be helpful to improve their mood for a small period of time. So I'm going to give that a 5 because happy cats are usually healthy cats. Then we have beer yeast. This is added for palatability reasons to make it so that it tastes better and they like it more. It is a natural protein and fiber. It also contains vitamins and minerals, which are beneficial to your cat's health, so a rating of 5. Last is tartrazine. This is a food colorant, and it has been known to cause some allergic reactions in some cases for some animals. So I'm going to give it a 1. All right, and our last advent calendar for this video is the Vet Diet Advent Calendar for Cats. So this one comes wrapped in cellophane. As you can see, it's shiny. So let's get that off and open her up. All right, so with the cellophane off, you can see it's very cool, very neat. It opens just like this. It folds, stands on its own, which is pretty cool. There's lots of neat stuff, and then it just, when you're all done with it, it just folds right back up. Very cool. Alrighty, so in terms of festive, I really like this one. It's very simple in the color choice, but there's a lot of detail to it. So like this little cabin with a little cat, this little sign that says ho ho ho, the pretty bowls and stuff at the top. And then when you open it up, we got a kitty with a little snowman. We got another little log cabin with trees. Got some pine cones on some evergreens. I like this one. And it says Happy Holidays right in the middle of the calendar, which I think is really cool. So in terms of festive, it is a little bit more wintry as opposed to festive, but I do like the amount of detail and design that went into this one. So I'm going to give it a 4 for festive. And then in terms of kittiness, there's lots of kitties on this one. So there's the 2 on the front. And then there's one little kitty here. And it really does specify that it is for cats. So this one I think did a pretty good job of making it for cats. So I'm going to give it a 4 as well. And then in terms of quality, you can see it's made of a little bit thicker cardboard. It bends and opens really easily. There is some like resistance a bit, I think almost like magnets in it maybe, in the corners when you try to pull it open, so it wouldn't just open on its own very easily. As you see, it stands and stays very nicely. So I would say it's probably the best quality one that I've seen so far in the ones that we've reviewed. So I'm going to give it a 5. All right, so let's open up one of these little doors. So it does have the little tab again, just to make it easy to open. So I'll push that in and then pull this back. The treats, as you can see, are just empty. There's no cellophane or anything to keep it fresh. They're just loose in there. And this is kind of loose too. So I wonder if the treats might fall down if you were to shake them, but I do suspect that it might have something to do with the door closing, so that hopefully that wouldn't happen when you do move the calendar around. So for the Vet Diet Advent Calendar for Cats, in terms of appearance of the calendar, I'm going to give it an 86%. Right, so next we're going to look at variety of the treats and then the appearance and smell of the treats. So this calendar has 2 different types of treats, being salmon and chicken. So that's a pretty decent variety. There's a little bit more salmon than chicken treats. But still, you know, they have 2 different kinds of treats, which is more than some of the other calendars. So I'm going to give it a 4. Let's take a look at these treats. So they are little squares, not much to them in terms of shape or designs, but they look pretty good. They are just small, easy bite-sized pieces and smooth, so there's no sharp edges. Looks pretty good. I'm going to give it probably a 3. time for the smell test for the vet diet calendar. Actually smells pretty good, honestly. Like, it smells like fish, and the chicken ones, well, they smell like chicken, which is pretty good. I would say the smell is pretty strong. Like, I think it's pretty good, so I would say in terms of smell, it's a 5. So for the vet diet advent calendar for cats, in terms of variety of the treats and then appearance and smell, I'm giving it an overall rating of 80%. So for the vet diet advent calendar for cats, it does come in 2 different protein types, salmon and chicken, within the calendar. It does specify also that the food is air dried. So why that is important to note is that air drying naturally removes moisture via evaporation, so that it is naturally preserving the food product in small batches. This means that there's minimal damage to the protein and vitamins and minerals within the natural ingredients of the product. So the cats are getting more nutritional value out of food like this. So the 2 different protein types, the salmon has 22% crude protein and the chicken has 35%. So these are pretty high percentages of crude protein. So I'm going to give it a 4 for protein content. In addition to that, salmon and chicken, respectively, are the first ingredients in these treats, which is awesome. We've talked about the importance of that previously. A lot of the other ingredients that you see here are also the same as the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas calendar, and I've explained the importance and health benefits, etc., of each of these in that part of the video. The only thing that is different is the presence, instead of the barley flour, it's been replaced with buckwheat flour in the vet diet calendar. Buckwheat flour is high in antioxidants and amino acids, and the amino acids are favorable for heart musculature, so it can be important to the health of the cat, giving it a rating of 5. All other ingredients that were previously mentioned that are seen again here have the exact same ratings as they did in the Lazy Kitty Merry Christmas and will be applied as such. Everything previously mentioned about similar ingredients refers only to the salmon treats. Now let's talk about the chicken treats. So the chicken treats only have 4 different ingredients, the first one being chicken, the second one being mixed tocopherols, which is a preservative and flavor agent, but it's also known as vitamin E. So it's kind of neither good nor bad, it just kind of is, so I'm going to give that a 3. And then rosemary extract, we've discussed, is a 5. And then the last ingredient is vitamin C, which is an antioxidant and natural immune system booster, of course being beneficial to their health, giving it a rating of 5. So in terms of the salmon treats, their overall rating for nutritional soundness is 86%, and the chicken treats is 90%, for an overall rating on this calendar of 88% nutritional soundness.
Winner!
This week on Catastrophic Tendencies, Luna has been sentenced to 1 lump of coal in her stocking for the offense of removing ornaments from the tree. All right, that's it for today, folks. So I just want to thank you so much for watching. It was a blast. We had a really good time, both me and the cats, trying out these calendars and seeing which one's our favorite. I'd like to invite you now to please like and subscribe to our channel. And Arlo's Bevy looks forward to seeing you next time.